So much for the fastest selling in all console in all of history. You know, Sony was boasting that this console was the best and fastest selling console in history. Every big YouTuber was saying how great the PlayStation 5 is, how amazing the console is. But the PS5 has been out for 2 years. And basically, for 2 years, actually, now I think it's nearly 3 years. Console came out in 2020. But its main selling point was, oh, you get to play as Miles Morales in Spider-Man. That was the main selling, also a remake of Demon Souls. Nothing came out last year, and Sony fans finally got a game, Horizon Forbidden West, which was torn apart to pieces. And Gran Turismo 6 was launched a buggy mess and everybody forgot about the game. No, Gran Turismo 7. It came out a buggy mess and everybody hated it. So Sony is continuing to do abysmally sales. So these are the newest sales. And it's all Nintendo still. Not a single Sony exclusive, Sony game, and Sony video games selling. No one cares about the PS5 in Japan. Okay? And the Xbox is actually starting to catch up to the PlayStation, which is pretty hilarious. The Xbox is starting to catch up on the weekly sales. That's the most hilarious thing in the world. Because Xbox is not really popular in Japan. But I think this generation is really going to wake people up to the horribleness that is PlayStation. A console of censorship. A console of trash. You have no games on this console, yet people are still buying it like sheep. Okay? If you have the Xbox, you get the new Halo game that came out. Also, you can play every 360, every Xbox, and every Xbox One game. Not literally every game, but most of the library on that console can be played on the Xbox Series X. PlayStation 5, of course, has no backwards compatibility. You have to pay extra money to play Death Stranding on the PS5 because they really want, and several other games, because they really want to milk those games as much as they can. So they're gonna tell you either buy the game on PC or you pay another $50 to play the same game you played again on the PlayStation 4. It's just so sickening and so sad, that Sony is like this. Sony is greedy. It's just so funny to see Sony get what they deserve, and these are the sales for PlayStation. These are the sales for PlayStation. No games in the top 30. Okay? And look at how many copies these are selling. Like Pokemon Diamond Pro only sold 1,596 copies. Yeah, it outsold every single PlayStation 5 games. And people say, but digital. Digital is the future, but they're the best selling games on Nintendo. All Nintendo games. All Nintendo exclusives. Okay? And all those games are available on digital as well. Yet Minecraft sold for 2.7 million physical copies. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 4.7 million copies. And more recent game, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Pro, as much as people like to test that game, sold 2.6 million copies. And Breath of the Wild sold 2 million copies. These. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands nearly had 1 million copies. Okay, Ring Fit Adventure 3.2 million copies, and that was a more expensive game because you got a peripheral of the game. Super Styles, 1 million copies. Okay, Residence Arceus, 2.2 million copies. Okay, Sword and Shield, 4.3 million copies. Okay, Mario Bowser's Fury, 1 million copies sold. Okay, yeah, Battle League is a flop. That game is complete garbage. It doesn't deserve any sales. Even Nintendo Switch Sports. But even Nintendo Switch Sports is outselling the PS5. Yep, Nintendo Switch Sports, for all of its faults, for all of its horribleness, sold more copies than every PlayStation 5. Every PlayStation 5 console in Japan. Okay? Every console in Japan, okay, is outsold. And that week by Nintendo Switch Sports. Okay. And we have the numbers for PS5 and Switch. They kept boasting about the fastest selling console in all of history. Yet Nintendo Switch is outselling the PS5. Yep. And at the same time as the Switch, as in PS5, the Switch is outselling the PS5. Okay. The Switch is outselling the PS5. That's hilarious. Okay. A console that is weaker is considered lesser by, of course, Sony fanboys, is selling way worse amount of copies than the PS5. You even had and of course, the first holiday season, you had a dip, a gigantic gap of over 1 million copies less worldwide than the Switch. Of course, it rebounded probably when Horizon Forbidden West came out, and then it dipped back again in Gran Turismo 7, and nobody's buying PlayStation again. Okay, June 2022. Okay. And it is versus the PS4. PS4 is selling more copies than the PS5. Okay, this is what you get when you release a console with no games, no backwards compatibility, because but Xbox has no games. You can't. There's no exclusives. They're all on PC. But on Xbox, you can play every game. You can play every major game. Every game that's on Xbox Game Pass. Every game that's already on the backwards compatibility program. Every game on the original Xbox One can be played on the Xbox Series X. Okay? PS5, what's the point besides SSS Sniper Wolf telling you that you have to buy a PS5? Okay? There's no point in getting this console. There's no games to buy. There's nothing. Okay? Nothing that is worth buying on the PS5 that is worth over the Xbox or PC or Nintendo Switch. Okay? Oh, but you can take this answer out of the answer because, PS5 gamers can buy Call of Duty anyways. But you can also buy on Xbox and PC. Okay? That's the competition for the PS5. Okay? That's the competition. Xbox and PC. Okay? And PC, you can't really count that either, because PC, people are different on PC. And Nintendo says you can't really count that because it's a weaker console, and Nintendo fans are different than PlayStation and Xbox fans. But what is the worth, the reason to buy a PS5? What is the worth and the reason to buy a PS5? Okay? I just don't see it. There's no reason. And they're also making the PS5 more expensive. Okay, they're making the console more expensive because they really think that the PS5 is the fastest selling console of all of history. It's being outsold by the previous successor now. It's also being outsold by the Switch at the same time. It's just so hilarious that Sony is failing that badly. Okay, Sony is failing that badly. And this is in the America sales. Okay, the PS5, Xbox are basically mostly the same. But the PS5 lead has dipped down to only 500,000. Back to what was at the beginning. And, yeah. It is pretty close. And the PS5 and Xbox One Series X are the same price. And now they're making the console more expensive. Okay. Which I think is going to hurt the console in the long run. Okay. Especially if there's inflation stuff. Okay. I bet the excuse that's like the $78 games is inflation. Game developer prices. Even though these game developers can't finish their games, like EA. They'll delay games. Oh, but we need to finish the game. But they won't finish the game. They're lying to you. They don't care about you. They only care about how much money they can make from microtransactions, how much money they can make from loot boxes, from, battle passes and skins and stuff like that. That's where they make the real money from these games now. Okay? It is not worth raising the price, especially a game like FIFA or Madden, to $30. Because most of the sales for that game comes from microtransactions. Okay, most of the money that is made is from people spending money on in-game currency, in-game items, and stuff like that. Okay, but then we have the Xbox Series X versus Xbox One comparison. Okay, this is the sales versus the Xbox One. Okay, the Xbox Series X is outselling the Xbox One by 2 million. By 2 million. Okay, 2 million. Of course, it's including the X and S, but this is the 2 million gap against the Xbox One. So that means this console is selling better than its previous generation, which is pretty good because the Xbox One wasn't a very successful console. It still sold 50 million copies worldwide. Okay, but yeah, this means it outsold the N64. You know, which people will tell you that it was, the N64 is the greatest console of all time, but it was outsold by the Xbox One. But the Xbox Series X and S is probably gonna outsell the Xbox One by a massive margin. It probably won't outsell the PS5 worldwide because people in Europe love the PS5 for some reason, but it is not the fastest selling console of all time. Okay, it's being outsold by the Switch, and it's being outsold by the PS4. Okay, which means neither Sony or Microsoft won this generation. Nintendo did, because the Switch is a part of this generation of consoles. Okay, which means Sony won the last generation because the Wii U was such a failure. Okay. Okay. The Wii U was such a failure. Okay. You know, but and we have this one from BZ Okay. It says Xbox Series X and S sales climb. PS5 sales flat. Worldwide estimates. Okay. Yo. This is not good for Sony. Their sales are always stagnating before the price hike. Okay. Their sales are already stagnating. Okay. And now I think we're about to see the fall of Sony. Okay. Sony turned the last generation around because of course the Xbox didn't really sell that well outside of Europe. No, not Europe, America. So yeah. Yep, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.